This video is a little bit of a double-edged sword because there's a massive announcement to make. There are rumors, there's speculation, tangible speculation to believe that Justin Trudeau will be stepping down in the next 60 days and Mark Carney will take his place. But the downside of that is if somebody else gets in, he might be able to kind of turn the ship from the sinking ship position into something that might be able to keep the Liberals in power, which is where the double-edged sword comes in. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. We are very close to 400,000 subscribers, and I would absolutely appreciate your guys' help getting there, as well as I have an extra channel for all of the other news stories that I just cannot cover in a 20 to 30 minute long video. It is called Mr. Sunshine Extra. The link for that is down in the description or even the pinned comment below. Speaking of, down in the description as well, if you want one of these stickers, Wacko Trudeau has to go. They're coming off the shelves this weekend. You can find a link for that down in the description. This is going to be a very good video, folks. You're going to want to stick around for the full thing. There's a lot of information. There's Pierre Poilievre, who's done a recent press conference, bashing Trudeau. There's an old video, a couple old videos that have circulated, resurfaced about Justin Trudeau, as well as these rumors. So stick around because we got a lot to get into. Not before we take a look at the polls. You got 220 seats projected, bottom line 191, top end 237. I like to say I told you so. My wife doesn't like that, though. I do think that 220 will... I'll go out on a limb and say that 220 is going to go up a little bit to 225. I don't know if it's going to hit 230 before the summer break. There would have to be some real crazy stuff that happens for that number to climb to a projected 230 seats. But if it does, if it goes up from anywhere from 220... anywhere up 221, 222, whatever it is, if there are any polls that move more in favor of the Conservatives, mainstream media has already turned on Justin Trudeau. So any more momentum for Pierre Poilievre is just going to be catastrophic. Like all of the headlines across Canada are going to read, this is the end of Justin Trudeau. It's over. He might as well resign. That's it. And that's going to put a metric shit ton of pressure on Justin Trudeau. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But let's take a look at our next clip here. We've got a clip from a protest that happened a couple of days ago where you got freedom-loving Canadians that are there to protest Justin Trudeau's presence in his electric vehicle motorcade. Oh, no, they're not electric vehicles. But what about the environment, Justin? Citizens arrest.
Ask you a question?
It is pretty crazy to think. I mean, as per this caption here, after everything Trudeau and his Liberals have done to Canada, I find joy in knowing he'll never be able to walk amongst the public again, right? It is pretty interesting just kind of thinking about that for a second and realizing, yeah, no, like we're so used to Trudeau being in power and having, all of the, the parliament privilege and all these things to shield himself behind, the crimes, whether it's in quotation marks or actual crimes. I shouldn't put that in quotation marks. I actually retract that. My bad. The crimes that he's committed against Canadians because, yeah, he's a piece of garbage and he's done so much harm to so many people and it's kind of coming to an end. It's his reign of terror as prime minister is actually coming to an end sooner than you think, folks, sooner than you think. Now we have the Toronto mayor was under pressure, under fire for refusing to put up the Israeli flag at City Hall because the other day was, celebration of Israel Day or whatever the hell it was called. And then down in the comments you have, but the LGHTV plus flag is flying. Only one flag, Canada. Can we raise the Sri Lankan flag also? Or is that a no-go? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that, politicians are picking and choosing which flags they want to raise and which flags they don't. And if you zoom in here, this is actually Marco Mendicino. That's crazy. Marco Mendicino, I don't know if he has ties to Israel, if he's Jewish descent. I have absolutely no idea. But he's been a big advocate for Israel. And the fact that he's standing there with the mayor when they're refusing to raise the City Hall or the Israeli flag at City Hall is kind of crazy. Speaking of crazy, we've got the Liberal Party here, their official account saying the choice is clear. Justin Trudeau making the ultra wealthy pay a bit more to deliver programs for the middle class. Or Pierre Poilievre cutting programs for the middle class to cut taxes for the ultra wealthy. You get to choose. That's kind of what they're doing. And when you look at the comments, it's not looking good for the Liberals. I mean, your choice has never been more clear for Canadians. You're done. This is on the actual Liberal Party's official X account. So it's just not looking good for Justin Trudeau, especially when he does public appearances for press conferences like this.
My follow-up, Mr. Prime Minister, I would like to know whether you intend to offer to help campaign during this year's New Brunswick provincial election that's scheduled for some time in October, especially given your government's position on the issue of children's rights in schools versus this provincial government's position on parents' right to know what is going on at their kids at school. So will you stump against the Progressive Conservatives in New Brunswick this fall? Why or why not?
Let me be very clear, as I always have. As I've demonstrated time and time again over the years, I will work with any government right across the country to deliver for their citizens. I will work to build a stronger future, more jobs, better support for the vulnerable Canadians. I'm always there to work with anyone who gets elected. But I do have issues with the current government of New Brunswick, not just their desire to scrap the fight against climate change by eliminating the price on pollution and the checks that land in Canadians' pockets, but also on the issue of making sure that we're not further vulnerabilizing our most vulnerable kids.
Right. So Justin Trudeau's been an advocate for anything that he thinks will create a massive divide in Canada and potentially, scrape the bottom of the barrel for more votes. It's very weird and disingenuous, Justin Trudeau, his approach towards policies, towards regulation. And that's why he gets absolutely schooled by an interviewer here. Let's take a look. This is a bit of an older clip, but not that old. I think it happened earlier this year. Let's take a look at it regardless.
You're a factor in this, you personally. Why do you think people don't like you?
I spend a lot of time talking with Canadians right across the country. I spent time this morning with construction workers, talking about the work that they were doing, building new rental units for Canadians here in Toronto. I think there is a lot of frustration with the way the world is unfolding, and that frustration is being taken out on people in positions of power. I get that. That's part of my job. But my job is to stay focused on the solutions that people are going to need, and that's what we're doing.
But what about you? I mean, we're both old enough to have seen a number of prime ministers, and I have never seen, the sticker that I saw yesterday in downtown Toronto running through the city with F. Trudeau on the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah!
With your name and the middle finger raised.
Yeah.
Why don't people like you?
There is a level of polarization and toxicity that we see in a very visible way on social media and also in real life, as you point out. But most Canadians remain thoughtful and open and decent, and yes, frustrated and worried about their future. But I also know Canadians are good people who are willing to work together to build that future, and I'm part of that.
I freaking love it. First of all, capitalism, suck it, Justin Trudeau. Any of these stickers, any of this merchandise is not a call for violence. It's not a threat to national security. Criticizing our politicians, with stickers like this, Wacko Trudeau or F Trudeau, whatever it is, that's not against any laws. That's not toxicity. That's called the free world, buddy boy. You don't like it? Go back to Cuba, where your poppy's from, or go to China since you admire it so much. This guy is insane. That's an actual CBC host who's grilling him, who's never seen this, and nobody in their lifetime, right? You could be 40 years old, you could be 20 years old, you could be 85, 89 years old, doesn't even matter how old you are. Justin Trudeau is the most hated prime minister politician that Canada has ever seen. It's wild, and it's only going to get worse. And unfortunately, he has stained the Liberal Party for the next, I'm calling it right now. I've called it before, 10, 15 years. It doesn't matter if you bring in, if they do a whole revamp of the Liberal Party, which they should really consider, right? And you bring in actually based people that are not liberal. There might be old school, traditional liberal, right? Let's bring back that mentality, because that's kind of where Canada was for a very long time. Canada's just historically a liberal country. And I'm not advocating against the Conservatives right now. I think that the Conservatives are our only hope of fixing the tremendous amount of damage that this new woke progressive Liberal Party has caused. But it's going to take a lot of fixing, and people just are not going to trust Liberal or NDP for a very, very, very long time. We have another news clip here. CTV news reporter is asking a Trudeau's Liberal minister about international students, because there seems to be, a recent rise in crime, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of data that suggests that we might not be bringing in, or through our immigration system, when it might not be done properly. I'm just going to leave it at that. It might not be done properly. Immigration is, I personally think, and this is just my own opinion, all right? I don't have all the answers, and this might just be my limited knowledge, or maybe I'm naive, but I personally think immigration is needed. It's good. It's necessary when it's targeted, right? When it's targeted, you see the gaps in what our system has, right? Okay, we need this amount of nurses, this amount of tradespeople. We need people that are qualified in all these different positions. Targeted immigration is supposed to help fill those gaps and patch up our holes in our country, so that we can go back to a good economy, right? And that's not what's happening. Canada's just opening the gates and flooding it in. And if you talk about it, you're racist. It doesn't make any sense. It's so bizarre. Immigration is good. Immigration is healthy. I think that every country thrives when they have good targeted immigration. So let's take a look at this video.
Lastly, I just wanted to ask you kind of come under fire for things that were said about how international students get criminal record checks in their home countries. Are they getting criminal record checks in their home countries?
Yeah, look, excellent question. I think the source of that criticism is from someone who is also wanting to ban Tim Hortons and is against plastic cardboard lids on cups. But even I'll take that for what it's worth. The reality is that on every student that comes through the student streams, other than the U.S., we do biometrics. Those biometrics go through a database, and we check. We do take a risk profile of the people that we ask or that come to this country, like any temporary resident, whether it's through the student stream or not. I think we do have to also disabuse ourselves of the notion that Canada is totally impermeable, or that necessarily criminality occurs in the source country or when they get here. So,
Lastly, I just wanted to ask you.
First of all, I want to say, unless I put out a precursor saying I'm going to sound like a liberal here, let me be clear. If I ever say, let me be very clear, please chat. Please, anybody who watches this channel, supports it, whether it's on this channel, other channels, on a podcast, wherever I am in life, if I ever say, let me be clear, without the precursor, I'm going to sound like a liberal right now, please mock me and make fun of me. I hope to Christ that I don't ever say that, because that's just the worst liberal thing that they say. Let me be clear. Bro, what do you mean? Let me be clear. Are you not being clear? Have you not been clear? Are you joking? Let me be clear is just the biggest precursor for, oh, you're a liberal. That's just how it is. So please keep me in check. If I ever say that without the precursor, please keep me in check. And then if it's, 6 months down the road or a year down the road, whatever it is, if I ever happen to say that and I'm put in check, I'd be like, oh yeah, crap. Whoops. I need to check my verbiage. All right. See if we can stay on track with that. Next up, we have an old tweet here that was discovered by Tamara Leach. This parody account is fire. And it turns out it's not a parody account. It's Justin Trudeau. Back in 2013, he said conservative ethics abuses have shaken Canadians' faith in Parliament. Conservative ethics abuse has shaken Canadians' faith in Parliament. It's time to raise the bar on accountability. Justin Trudeau, back in 2013, is claiming that the Conservatives are abusing ethics in Parliament. They're going and doing unethical things. And then he wants to call for accountability. That's funny how the turns have tabled. Very, very interesting, Mademoiselle Trudeau. I'd like to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And now we're getting into these tweets here. All right. Insider rumors, this is by TD Leaker on X. Insider rumors suggest Trudeau steps down on June 12th, replaced by Mark Carney. Okay, so they're going to be doing something with the carbon tax. It's being contemplated with the intent of creating a pre-election economic boom to secure another 4 years of Liberal reign. And that's not the only account that that is saying that. You also have Government Corrupt, who has said the exact same thing. And these tweets are getting, or these posts on X are getting a lot of attention. There are now rumors being spread that Trudeau will be forced out as prime minister within the next 60 days and replaced by Mark Carney. It's not an if at this point, it's when. The Trudeau brand is just too damaged. And this is the part that I don't understand how that's going to work. Because as you see right here, Carney doesn't have a seat. How will this work? He will be likely thrown into some lame by-election and basically be gifted one. That would be a super interesting tactic if that's how it goes. If Carney runs in a by-election that's coming up, wins, and then he becomes an official member of parliament at the federal level, and then just gets gifted that. They rewrite some legislator or whatever it is, and then it bypasses Chrystia Freeland and goes to Mark Carney. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's a legal loophole. Well, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe there's some more weathered people here in politics that might have a little bit more knowledge into this. Because from my understanding, it's their deputy minister, Chrystia Freeland, who's kind of waiting for something to happen so she can take the throne, right? So nonetheless, it does seem like Justin Trudeau is tanking to a point. I mean, he's already beyond the point of no return. And it seems like they're just killing time at this point. I don't know if they're going to go all the way, the distance to the next election. That's like 18 months from now, folks. That's a long time for him to go everywhere and be met with, a force of protesters, not like an actual force, but people that are peacefully protesting, showing up everywhere. It doesn't look good. I mean, international headlines are reading Trudeau is incompetent. Trudeau needs to go. So it's not just us here in Canada that think that. And one of the people that are leading the race on this is Pierre Poilievre, and that's what we're going to take a look at right now. True North posted this clip of this recent press conference that Pierre Poilievre did today, where he was asked about public servant unions vowing to fight the new 3-day-a-week office mandate and their threats of causing a summer of discontent. That's right. People are somehow going to be able to work 3 days a week. I think in the office, or just 3 days a week. It's a new world here in Canada.
The Public Service Alliance of Canada has threatened a summer of discontent over having to go back to the office 3 full days a week. What do you think about this policy change? Do you think federal employees should be working in their office 3 days a week? And if I can get an answer in French as well.
What I find interesting is that Trudeau's added 100,000 public servants. That's a 40% increase in the number of government workers, and he's delivering worse service. You can't get anyone on the phone at CRA, incredible delays just to get a passport, and the federal government is not delivering any services that it wasn't delivering before. In other words, after 9 years of Trudeau, Canadians are paying more for bureaucracy to get less in service. On top of that, he's doubled the spending on outside consultants. This is the money that goes to the high-priced $2,000 a day individuals that gave us the Arrive scam app. Common sense conservatives believe public servants should be working for Canadians, that the work should be brought in-house at a lower cost, everyone should be working 5 days a week, and that it's clear that after 9 years of Trudeau, he's not worth the cost. It's time for a government that delivers more for less, that delivers value for money. That is common sense. Now let's bring it home.
What do you guys think down below in the comments about people potentially working 3 days a week from home in government positions? I think that has a lot of outrage from a lot of people that don't get that privilege or aren't offered that type of privilege. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Next up, we have another clip of Pierre from the same press conference, but different question. Pierre calls on the Trudeau government to end gas and diesel taxes from Victoria Day to Labor Day, which would help significantly with the price of fuel and might give people in the warmer months that we're experiencing right now an opportunity to take their families on road trips. And you can see in the background, fuel is $1.99.9, which is freaking insane, dude. What world are we living in? Oh my goodness.
Common sense conservatives are calling for an end to gas and diesel taxes from Victoria Day till Labor Day to give Canadians a summer break. We call on the Prime Minister to do this. It will reduce gas prices by 35 cents a litre, allowing families to get on the road and go off to their favorite campsite, maybe a cottage or a cabin, do some fishing, some hunting, or just get away for a weekend. Canadians need that now more than ever with how miserable things are going in this country of ours. It's a common sense step that the government could do, and if you wonder how we could pay for it, this Prime Minister is spending $21 billion on consultants. $21 billion. Money that could be in the pockets of Canadians. 100% increase on the money going to high-priced consultants like those that gave us the Arrive scam scandal. Cut back on those consultants. Put the money back in the pockets of Canadians. Give Canadians a fuel tax holiday of 35 cents a litre from Victoria Day all the way to Labor Day. This is the least that we could do.
What do you guys think down below? Would that help you and your family with the current increase in price for fuel and, you know, all the additional costs that people are just having to eat on the chin, basically? Let me know down below in the comments. Next up, we have a tweet here that's kind of, I don't know, it's got mixed reactions. Some people think it's really good. Some people think it's really bad. New report echoes call for Canada to ban TikTok over foreign interference concerns. And you can see the top comment here, which now just got a like from me. We should jail Trudeau for foreign interference. But I believe that America has gone after this because TikTok is a little bit concerning. The algorithm on TikTok is like no other algorithm that anyone has ever seen. It is just so intuitive. I don't understand it, but whatever you say on your phone or within the vicinity of your phone or any activity that you have on your phone, TikTok, it just knows. It's kind of like all of the other algorithms combined into like the final boss. I don't know. It's very, very concerning. And these videos on TikTok get an exorbitant amount of views. Insane amount of views. Now, is that fake? Is that bots? Does that translate into anything? Is it worldwide? Are they Canadian views? Who knows? I personally am not that big of a fan of TikTok. This channel has a TikTok account. I don't really pay much attention to that. I don't like TikTok. I don't really trust it either. So let me know down below what you guys think about that. Do you have TikTok? Do you use TikTok? Do you trust it? If so, why? If you don't trust it, let me know why you don't. Next, we have the Liberal Party going after Alex Jones once again. They're quote tweeting their post from April 10th, where they had said, "This is who Alex Jones and Pierre Poilievre won't announce his endorsement. He just doesn't care." Then recently, yesterday, they said Canadians are still waiting for Pierre Poilievre to denounce the endorsement of far-right American conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. The frogs are gay. Here we go.
Alex Jones spent nearly a decade spewing conspiracy theories about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting.
Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake, with actors, in my view, manufactured.
Using these lies to lure viewers to his broadcasting platform, he earned millions of dollars.
And Mr. Jones,
in this trial, his second for defamation, families described the relentless harassment they faced as a result.
You're already completely off balance, right? And then something like this comes along and people start saying stuff like this and it derails you.
Jones showed zero remorse as he broadcast the court proceedings, cheering each award.
total $54 million.
Yeah!
By juror number 1.
Woo! He laughed at the prospect of paying up.
Do these people actually think they're getting any money?
And then tried to fundraise off this moment.
SaveInfoWars.com. Donate now. Fight these monsters.
Alex Jones spent
Kind of weird that the Liberal Party is using Alex Jones as a way to try and discredit Pierre Poilievre. First of all, you don't have any control over who talks about you, who shares your videos, who endorses you or doesn't endorse you, or who publicly has anything to say about you. So Pierre Poilievre doesn't have to denounce anything because it's not in his control whether I talk about Pierre in a positive light, whether Alex Jones shares a video and says, wow, this guy is like, going to squash Justin Trudeau in the polls. This is great. It doesn't matter. He's never endorsed the endorsement. Has there even been an endorsement? It's just so bizarre that the Liberals are just they're so wacko. They're so wacko. They just don't understand how real life works, and they're trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But let me know down below what you think about Alex Jones and his endorsement of Pierre Poilievre. Next up, we have Larry Brock, who has this committee hearing video here. The cover-up coalition at work. Watch the NDP and Liberal coalition vote to shut down hearing on Trudeau's $60 million Arrive scam with key witness at the table. This is insane that they keep doing stuff like this.
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn the meeting. I'll have the clerk to call the roll call on that, please.
Shall the motion of Mr. Aria be adopted? Ms. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. Aria?
Yes.
Ms. Khalid?
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan? Ms. Sidhu, sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Yip?
Yes.
Mr. Nader?
No.
Mr. Barrett?
After the Liberal filibuster to block testimony, no.
Mr. Brock?
Absolutely no. Canadians want answers.
Just, gentlemen, just a yes or no answer will suffice, yea or nay.
Monsieur Blanchet-Jonca? Ms. Blaney?
Anyways, we don't have to watch this, dog and pony show here. It's just wild that they have these committee hearings. They do the right things of bringing in witnesses and they go through the right channels and then they just vote to shut it down. It's criminal. Nothing actually is getting done. And that's why it's so important for people to see stuff like this and make an informed decision. And we can gather votes and we can put the right people in power, or hopefully, I'm at least optimistic about that. I mean, I might be naive, but that's just my current view on it. And I think that that we need to get back on track and squash the corruption, right? Squash the corruption. We got one last video here from Harrison Faulkner, who works for True North, who's gone all the way to the East Coast, who to be to buy the guy, and he's interviewing some of the people that are protesting, some of the international students here. And partway through the interview, there is a bit of a triggered individual who approaches Harrison, and they have an exchange of words. Let's take a look.
Since 1.5 years. Are you here since 1.5 years?
No, but I am a Canadian, so that is
make you decide. They are here for that. That's why we are talking to them, and we are done with you. Sit, guys. Have your food. We are done with them.
I'm Canadian.
Right.
I live here.
Yes.
These are my people too.
Okay.
They're not just yours.
No, I'm not claiming they're mine at
You're
all.
going to keep doing this shit. Keep posting.
Can you step away?
No,
Step
I'm not
back,
going
ma'am.
to post.
Step back,
I'm
ma'am.
not going to step back. I'm going to step in your face. Because you have no right. If you don't have the information, the accurate information.
What did I get wrong about the video?
You got everything wrong.
Okay, tell me then. Tell
You're
me
saying
something I got wrong.
Indians are holding Canada hostage. It's not true.
When did I say they were holding Canada hostage? I said that there is no more space in Prince Edward Island for service workers.
There's no space for anybody on this island. Trust me.
Right.
Even
So
my
why do
own
you want the?
fucking
Why
people
do you
don't
want?
help me.
So. Okay. So.
I have a disability too.
Okay.
But nobody on this island wants to help me as a person.
We are not we're here to speak with we're here to speak with islanders about this situation, and I'm glad we're speaking. You said that there is no more space in this island.
There's no space for anybody. That's including you.
Ooh-wee. Harrison out there with boots on the ground doing some real work. Good for you, buddy. Look forward to seeing what comes out of that. Of course, what the individual who approached Harrison was referring to is a video that was posted on True North talking about how Canada is just having a lot of Indians, immigrants, come here, and they actually interviewed Indians, like immigrants, I believe. I actually haven't watched the full video. I should watch it, and then maybe I'll comment on it. But I highly recommend you guys go to True North and take a look at that video and see the work that Harrison does. That's where we're going to end this video, folks. On your way out, I would like to encourage you guys one last time to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.